Hello, everyone. Can you hear me out there? Hi, Skutsiotic, Aninap Chikik, Jennifer Varenchek. Hello, everyone. How are you? Welcome to another wonderful Sissy, Unci, Auntie live stream. We are so happy to have you with us. I'm actually coming to you from the future. I today am not on the continent, not in Hawaii. I'm actually in the Philippines, and it's Friday morning here for me. So I just wanted to say good morning to you all, even though it's evening where you are. And welcome to the show. We have a great show for you today. I'd like to bring on one of our co hosts, Justine. Come on in and say hello. Or Avril, whoever I can get to share the screen with me. Thank you. Yay, Justine. Say hi.
Hi everyone. Happy to be here, y'all. Another month, another episode. Yate, shit a do, shit a Justine Medina, Yaneshe, Snake Clan from Winnebago, Neshle, Na Kai Bashachin, Na Kai Dene, Dasache, Na Kai Dashanelli. Hi everyone. My name is Justine Medina. My mom is from the Snake Clan from Winnebago. She's also my nominee. My dad's from Yucatan, Mexico. My maternal grandmother, she is from the Mexican clan. And then my paternal grandfather, he's from Yucatan, Mexico as well. Happy to be here, y'all. I am calling in. I am live from the Bay Area, so I'm right outside of San Francisco in the suburbs. And now I'll do a intro for Abel, right? Okay, I was right.
Hello, everybody. Chickahominy Takiape, Avril Cordova Machiape, Malakota and Taos Pueblo. My Thama is Joseph Conquilla Cordova. My Ina, my cause, Patricia Crow Cordova. I'm sixth generation from Chief Red Cloud. I'm the owner operator of AC and Associates. I'm a mother, daughter, community member, co-host. I am streaming in live from, where am I streaming in from? I'm streaming in live from near Snow Mountain Paiute area. And if you don't know where that is, I'm sure you will know if you heard Las Vegas. Cha-ching! Northern Las Vegas to be exact. And that's where I'm streaming in from. So thank you all for being here. It's another beautiful day. Hello, everybody. My name is Avril Cordova. I'm Taos Pueblo, Oglala, Lakota, and I am going to do the prayer. We always like to start on a good way with land acknowledgement, a welcome, and a prayer. So let's give some time for prayer. If you don't pray, use this time to breathe, to set your intentions on today's show, to have a good spirit. Also, I want to encourage you all to comment. Let us know how you're feeling in the comments. We very much can engage with you all. So here's my prayer. Creator, we come to you today with open hearts and open minds, thankful for the many blessings that you provide on a minute, monthly, second basis, from the ability to walk, talk, be here today to laugh, to chit chat, to have an Unci visit, an Auntie visit, those big laughs that we love to hear in our community. Let that happen here, Creator, and let that happen in the lives of those that are watching. Continue to be with the individuals that are watching now or in the replay. Allow them to know that if they haven't been told today that they're loved, and that they're being prayed for. Continue to watch over them, keep them healthy, wealthy, and safe, Creator. And let them know that whatever it is that they're going to, this too shall pass. Continue to allow them, if they don't know yet, that they can pray to their ancestors. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams, Creator. And with everything that's going on in the world, we will overcome. We will overcome what we're going through in our lives, in the world, and let's just have a great time together. Ta'a pilamayaye gracias sityehet ajona slay ajona slay ajona slay ajona slay aho. The end. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. That was wonderful, Avril. I really appreciate that. Had a moment to myself here. I think next we're going to go into our land acknowledgement, which will be Justine.
Um, Yeah, just like as Avril says, sort of preparing, we want to do a quick land acknowledgement. And this is just a moment just for our audience, and especially for our non-native audience that aren't familiar with land acknowledgements, just taking the time and the moment to recognize the indigenous peoples that were here before us and that are still here today in our lands. And if you don't know whose lands you are, feel free to look them up. I think it's nativelands.ca. Is that correct? And we can probably drop them in chat. But I personally, I'm coming in from the Bay Area, which is Ohlone territory, and I just want to take a moment just to recognize that. And then I'm also a settler on this land and area. My nations are across the United States, so I just want to thank the community that is still here today, and for those that came before me. And let's get on with the show.
So our check-in question for today, we do have a check-in question that we'd like to talk about before we bring on our guests. And I like our check-in question. However, yes, how do you stay grounded and connected to yourself and your culture, kind of given the times that we're in? And since I'm the first one, I'll just tell you and share with you what I do, which is I'm very fortunate. I live in Hawaii, so I have water by me. And so I like to go in the water probably 3 to 4 times a week. And although that is not necessarily my culture, I'm Tohono, which is from the desert. But it does keep me grounded, and it just being in nature in general. Though that's what I do when I'm feeling very overwhelmed. I know it's time for me to go walk on the beach and go in the water. So what about you all? What do you do? How do you stay grounded and connected?
I'll go next. Jeannie,
Okay.
while you think about it. I stay grounded by making sure that my takojas, my grandchildren, know who they are and where they come from, teaching them words, making sure that me as a Unci, as a grandma, are very much there for them. I have young grandchildren, so they're 6 and 8, gonna be 7 and 9, and they still love for me to rub their backs, to sleep with them. And while we're laying there, I always tell them, we started to say, you are strong. What are those things called?
Affirmation.
Yeah, affirmations. You are strong, you are resilient. But the things that I've been throwing in now is you are Taos Pueblo, you are Oglala Lakota, you are Michoacan, to make sure like they know they're Indian, but they don't know, because we're so far from our homelands. Like if somebody asks them, yeah, I'm Indian, well, what kind of Indian are you? And then I've been hearing a lot, like people asking, well, how do you know you're Indian? And that usually comes from like a washichu, right? Like somebody that is washichu means white in my language. So that usually comes from a washichu. And I'm like, well, how do you know you're white? Like, why are you asking me? Anyways, don't get me started. But I keep grounded by them. They keep me grounded because I know one day, I come from a legacy of my mom went to boarding school. My dad went to boarding school. My mom came out to LA on relocation. All those things that aren't in our history books are real life to me. I want to make sure that they know about that so that they'll know, what we all went through. I also keep grounded by being in community. Like I said, I'm in Las Vegas right now. On Monday, they're on spring break. On Monday, the Indian Ed department out here in Vegas had like a book fair style, like a literacy day. And I was like, let's go, taking them. And my sister was here from New Mexico, so I got their family to go as well. And they were playing like Star Wars and Dene. They were giving out books, and those are just all good things that I want to make sure that I keep grounded in, because I need to know where my people are. You know, when my daughter first moved out here like 7 years ago, I was like, we need to find the Indian Center. We need to find IHS. We need to find our people. So that's how I keep grounded. That's it, the end. I can keep going on, girls, but I'm going to stop for right now.
Yay. Thanks for sharing. I think for me, if you all didn't know, so the reason why we all know each other is from Los Angeles, but we're all not in LA right now. And I moved to the Bay Area a couple years ago. All this context to say, like, I feel like I haven't been grounded in community lately and culture. And I don't know if it's because my son is just turning 3 and I've been caught up in parenthood, like motherhood and that new identity, and still figuring out this area. But I think this question, I really appreciate it right now because it's making me really reflect. Okay, I always see like events happening and I've tried to connect here and there, but it just hasn't really been in community. I don't know. It feels kind of, I don't know. Maybe I should go to therapy for this, but just not it. I just need to connect. And the only way, like, think about this right now and out loud, that I do connect with community is with you guys in this monthly podcast. Like, I enjoy coming here. I enjoy the laughter. I enjoy our guests. So that's how I stay connected to community, is through y'all. And then also, like, the internet, too, like on social media. Jaden just fell. Like, social media. And just seeing what other, like, Native people are doing out there. Like, even though I'm not actively doing a lot of stuff in community, I like really admire the work that, like even our guest is doing. So all that to say, yes, I need to connect.
Thank you. I while you were talking, Justine, I was thinking in my head, I was like, I work in the community. I work for the community, and I'm not realizing that is a connection to the community, but because it's work, it doesn't feel like a connection. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I saw the flyer for the powwow, right, in Hawaii, which I'm helping to organize and recruiting people and all of that. But I'm like, that's work. So it doesn't feel it. I know I'm doing it for the people and for our community, but I don't know how to explain it. But it just doesn't feel, it's like I know we've all had this experience. We go to powwows and we're working at the powwow, right? We're at the table. We're actively getting people to sign up or hand out a flyer. But then when we go to the powwow on our own, okay, I'm talking about myself. It's like, now what do I do? Like, I'm here. I don't even know how to be in a powwow without, like, can you sign my petition or whatever? So I'm realizing I need to work on that too, because I'm turning what should be a natural connection into a work thing, and it doesn't need to be like that. So I have my own work I have to do, which is just more work. So anyways,
that's a really good thank you both guys for being honest and truthful about this question. But Jen, that's a really big connection that I have with you with what you said, because our guest today comes from wait, let me just back up a little bit. So I used to work for United American Indian Involvement for 13 and a half years, and working there and being in community, where's that boundary? When it's like going to an event and you're not working and people still coming up to you like, where's this? Where's that? And I'm like, I'm here on vacation, but like, it's all hard work all around, it's what we love to do. It's how we stay connected, and how do we definitely put boundaries on that. That's probably another good topic around our nonprofit topic that we foresee in the future talking about, so all good answers to the question. And I like to pose it to our community that's watching. How do you all stay grounded and connected to yourselves and your culture? Let us know in the comments, and we would love to highlight that. That's it, the end for me. Thank you.
awesome. is it time to bring on our guest?
Sure.
Yay. Go ahead, Justine, give us a trumpet.
Oh,
Okay, so we're all very excited to bring on our special guest, Auntie Amy Stretten, which I hope I'm pronouncing correctly, but if I'm not, we will learn the correct pronunciation in just a moment. Amy is an award-winning journalist, cultural fashion stylist, and communication strategist dedicated to reshaping narratives about Native identity, health, and wellness through a decolonial lens. I don't know why I can't talk, guys. I was having problems earlier, so my apologies. She currently serves as the Director of Marketing and Communications at United American Indian Involvement Incorporated, where she is leading efforts to elevate visibility and advocacy for LA urban Native community. Yay! Many of you may also know Amy as the founder of The Chief of Style, a platform celebrating Indigenous fashion, body positivity, and personal expression. And while we won't spill the details today, we know that she has some exciting projects in the works, including a refresh of The Chief of Style and even a doc series and podcast on the horizon. So, Auntie Amy, we are so honored to have you with us today. Welcome. Yay.
Unmute.
This is so exciting. Thank you so much for the invitation to be here. Wengapo Natab, Natadowins Amy Stretten, Chickahominy Nanoam. Thank you. My name is Amy Stretten. I am a proud citizen of the Chickahominy Tribe of Virginia. However, I grew up here in Los Angeles on Tongva Chumash land. So I am calling in from there, and I'm just so excited to be here. I loved that whole introduction conversation. I was wishing I could hit like the hearts or something like in Zoom, you know. I was like heart, like to everything you guys were saying. So thank you so much for having me.
Yay, we're so glad to have you here. Really quick before we start with all of our questions, I just wanted to share a story of how I met Amy, and I've talked about you on this podcast before because I was at an event and I had to walk in alone, and I was sitting in my car like I don't want to go in alone because it was a kind of like a high-end deal. And there was Amy and her friend Amanda, and they were walking, and I kind of like ran in my heels like a little bit fast. I was like, ladies, can I please walk in with you guys? And they're like, sure, come on in. And that really was very, it was a very big deal. It was such a small, minor thing, but in my heart, like it really meant a lot to me because the event that we were going into is like one of those events where for me, it's very like swimming with the sharks. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. It's very intense, high intensity for me. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much for that. I really appreciate your generosity and your willingness to like let me walk in with you all. And then, you know, once we left, it was like, okay, oh, we made it. Or that's how I felt. I felt like, oh, I made it. And I just want to say thank you. And I shared this story with Avril and Justine already, just to let them know like how much it really meant to me. So thank you.
Yeah, Kana, thank you so much for sharing that story. I'm glad we could be there at the same time. It was definitely the blind leading the blind, trying to get where we needed to go. So I know Amanda and I were very happy that you were there as well, because the three of us together could be like musketeers finding our way. So yeah, so happy. If you spot me somewhere else, I'd be happy to walk with you then too. So just let me know.
Awesome.
I want to say thank you as well. I'm a person that doesn't like walking into places by themselves, and I blame that on my sister because she's 11 minutes older than me. We're twins, so I've always had somebody by my side from birth. But having that feeling, and you know, I think that comes with a lot of community stuff as well. You want, when you go places, you want to be felt welcome. And if you're not, then it's not necessarily like you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs by yourself. But when you go to events, and when I put on events, or when I used to put on events, I'm very much about handshaking everybody, like welcoming everybody. Hi, hello. I'm a big hugger too. So, I mean, hugs to me are medicine. So I always hug people that I know and such. But thank you, as Jen's one of my sisters, I know that feeling. So thanks for that. And I'm a big Amanda and Amy fan.
I know we should have both been here. So
I know, right?
I think like going into social situations when you're alone can be really hard. And at the same time, I think a lot of us deal with being alone and wanting to connect with community, but it can be hard when you're just by yourself, and it's intimidating. One thing that I like to remember when I go into a situation like that is everyone else feels the same way. That you're not the only one who feels insecure or awkward or doesn't know the right thing to say, that like there's going to be lots of other people who feel that way too. And we're all kind of like faking it. Like that's the part of being an adult, is you sort of like fake your way through life. So I just kind of remember that we're all in this together. We all sort of feel awkward, whether it's in that moment or just at another moment. And I think, I got into fashion, or I've loved fashion because it's an excuse to either compliment someone else on their outfit. We all wear like native bling, big earrings. So you can go up to someone with a compliment, and that's a great way to start a conversation. I oftentimes will wear like an eye-catching statement piece or outfit, and I feel that often brings people to me. They'll say, oh, I really love your sequin jacket, or I love those earrings. And that is a very easy way to not have to do any work, because people come to you. So I think sometimes starting out with a compliment or a question about something, even if you ask, how do you get to the bathroom, or how do I get upstairs, you came to us needing our help. And I think in general, especially in community, I think people like to be helpful. So sometimes, pushing past that, like just initial discomfort can get you to where you feel totally comfortable and you're now talking to people and everything's cool.
Yeah, I'm very much a complimenting person. Or I always do this too, and I tell this to other people. When I go to the grocery stores, usually the checkers are usually looking down and then just processing, the groceries. And I'm always like, hi, Ken. Hi, Sally. And they're like, how do they know? And I'm all like, your name badge, and they're just like, when you use somebody's name, it definitely turns their attitude, I guess. But compliments are a big thing. We were talking about being at Res together at the same time. So Res is the conference in Las Vegas. It's an entrepreneur conference, reservation economic summit, and people, you should go. If you can go next year, you should go. It's so big that I didn't even know Amy was there. I went with somebody and I didn't even get a chance to see them. Shout out to Cynthia Begay. But I got to see so many other people, and I wore ribbon skirt all the time. My grandson always says, I know grandma's here because she has her skirts here when she's here. But I wore one of my ribbon skirts that Kara Lloyd made me. Shout out to Kara Lloyd. And people were complimenting. And, there's so many beautiful things, and our peoples are so talented. I think complimenting is a great way to smooth over like any uncomfortability. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got to say.
With that, I was just going to chime in. So sorry, real quick. I was going to say that, one of y'all like had messaged me and you said Wengapo, which is how we say hello in my language. And I also think it's really nice when you use someone else's language. I think it's such a sign of respect and admiration for them and their culture. So like, if you know how to say hello in someone else's language or thank you, I think that's just such a beautiful thing to do too, sort of in acknowledging a person. And I think that's like the best compliment, So, yeah.
Yeah, I love to, I mean, when I pray, I always pray with the closing of, different languages that I've learned, because you don't know who's in the room, and it just makes them feel connected as well. So saying gracias or atiehet or, all of those words that I've come to know, and I have friends and family that are of those tribes, it makes the connection a connection,
Yeah.
So we have some people that are also watching on IG, and there are some individuals that are saying how they are personally connected, and I just wanted to highlight them. From personally been getting into weaving. They're from I'm gonna Squanish Island, and love working with cedar. Makes me feel closer to my people and ancestors, especially living in LA. And
Yay.
also attending powwows and events at Pavongna, but my native roots are south of the U.S. border, and it's much harder to stay connected as our native culture and roots are not really practiced. I think that's true for a lot of urban individuals that are here from, different areas, because there are some small things that I have taken away from different teachings that I teach my grandkids, but we're not always able to. If you don't have that connection, it's hard to practice if you don't know.
Totally. Yeah. That's what I think UAII is just so good at doing, is bringing folks together for those types of cultural lessons and cultural exchange among folks of different tribes. And it's just great to have a place here in an urban center that provides so much for the community. I just want to do a little plug in case folks watching don't know about United American Indian involvement. It's an amazing organization that provides wraparound services for the urban Indian community in Los Angeles. So they have everything from health, mental health, dental care. They have child care, supportive services like workforce. I actually came in to know about UAII as a client. I was first a client of theirs, and they helped me get brakes on my car so I could go to job interviews, things that are very that other organizations wouldn't really think about, but they really take care of their people. And so I came in as a workforce client, and then I eventually worked with the organization as a community partner. I had an 18-month fellowship with the Center for Cultural Power. They're an amazing arts and culture social justice nonprofit based in Oakland. And I was one of the inaugural Constellations Artist Disruptor Fellows. I know it's a lot of words I'm throwing out. And so my project through this 18 months was focused on decolonizing health and wellness in Indian country and exploring how Native people are doing that. So they're, using an earth gym to work out. Folks like Thosh is showing us how he's living tradish, in a modern world. And then people like Acacia Red Elk, who is teaching powwow yoga to her community. And so I was exploring all of those things. And then the project closed with a women's retreat that was in Big Bear. And so UAII provided 40 women ages 18 to 82 who joined me in Big Bear for 3 days and 2 nights. And Acacia came down, and she actually was supposed to celebrate her birthday with her friends, I think in Vegas or something. But she ended up coming to Big Bear because she loved this project so much and the mission. And so she taught, this group of women powwow yoga, and she did a 7 generations healing circle. We did a silent forest bath, like a walking meditation in the forest. My friend, who is a massage therapist, she's amazing. She taught them some self-massage techniques and even provided massage. And then I talked about self-love and body liberation and, self-confidence. And so UAII supported me in making that project happen. So they've just been amazing on all angles. And when the LA wildfire situation happened, they asked me to come on to support their communications efforts to get the word out. And so since then, I've just been go with them. And I'm really proud and honored to be a part of the organization on this side of things.
That's amazing. Awesome. I love hearing about all of that. in that retreat. I'm like, I want to go to a retreat like that.
Yeah, it was amazing. It really was. I won a grant, a $50,000 grant that was able to pay for it. So, because it was free, they didn't have to pay anything. And I think a lot of the women, it was a very bougie retreat center, Big Bear Retreat Center. Shout out to them because they're also very amazing. But yeah, it was not cheap to bring all those women up there, but it was so worth it. And it was like a life-changing experience. So yeah,
I would say I like bougie.
Yes, right. I like bougie on a budget though. That's my favorite.
I
like
can't afford it, but I like bougie, especially when it's someone else's treated.
Right, we deserve it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, and then I just wanted to jump in, just kind of backtrack about like how you all met and stuff. I feel like when you guys are talking, I was just like, okay, Justine, your goal this week is to like meet one stranger and tell them hi. Like, so everyone that's listening, that'll be my goal, my challenge. This will give us a month, just to meet someone and say hi, because I know I'm like shy in my bubble. Not really sometimes, but I really want to make some friends. But no, thanks for sharing that. That fellowship sounds amazing too. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. If you are able to get to Davis, UC Davis, we are going on the road. We have a documentary called The People's Home, which is about the story from relocation to creating UAII and how it's served the community since 1974. And so we're going to screen that documentary at UC Davis. I think it's the night of the 17th. I believe, don't hold me to that, but it's that week we're going to be at Davis, and there's a powwow happening there as well. So you might be able to meet some friends if you come out.
And I see you, then I'll say hi. And I'll
yes, find me. We gotta find each other.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we'll get to the questions right now. I know you were talking about all your work and stuff like that, which sounds really amazing. One thing that we had to ask today was, what's a book or documentary that inspired you recently?
So I actually wrote it down because I didn't want to forget the long title. That it's called Sensual Faith, The Art of Coming Home to Yourself. And, the question you guys opened up with, like, how do you connect or how do you ground yourself or anchor? I'm forgetting the exact question, but my answer is always with my breath. It's just, that's the one thing that is always there. Maybe, your journal's not around. You can't call your best friend at that moment, but your breath is always there. And just sitting in stillness and breathing is how I get grounded in my body. And this book felt like an exhale because the author, she's amazing. She talks about how, pleasure and I guess in general, pleasure has been seen as such a bad thing in our culture. We have a very, puritanical society in the US, but she talks about how you can incorporate pleasure in your life at all levels, and that self-care and self-love are instrumental to your own well-being and that of your community. So this book has been really great. My friend Ashley recommended it to me, and I got into it immediately. It's on Spotify on audiobook, and the author, I think the author actually reads it, which I prefer that. I love that when the author reads their own work. But you can listen to it for free on Spotify. Sensual Faith, The Art of Coming Home to Yourself.
Yeah. With that, let's all take a breath right now. Because to be honest, y'all, I'm literally I feel like every year I get a reminder how important to take a breath is. And like every year I get older, I'm like, just take a breath, Justine. Someone made you mad? Take a breath. So simple, but yet it's so forgetful. But I wanted to share that. I don't know if y'all have it. So I'm definitely going to check out that book on Spotify audio.
And, with the breath, I feel like a lot of times we're all in the inhale, almost like in a reactive protective mode, but it's all about that exhale. Like the exhale is where you can sort of melt into your body, melt into the couch, the ground, and just remember that the earth has us, like she's supporting us. And so with that, you're all good. Like, what more do you need? So I kind of get into that essential, simplicity. And I think that kind of helps me manage whenever I'm stressed or.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I know. Girl, you know.
Yeah, I know. Especially with traffic in LA, I know. Eh?
Yes. Yes. Oh, rubber gloves, baby.
I'll go next for the documentary or book. I want to say something really quick about the breath. I was listening to this video about how to remain calm when people are yelling at you. And one of the things that the guy, his name's Jefferson, he said, I always teach my clients, let your breath be the first thing that you say, or let your breath be your first words. So when someone's yelling at you, he says to, inhale, and then just as you think you inhale, just take another little inhale and then exhale. So it's all through your nose and then speak. And he did a whole exercise on doing that before that, but that was basically the gist of it. And I really appreciate that. I like that, being able to try and when you're being yelled at, of course, it's going to be difficult for me to remember that, but I will strive to let my breath be the first words that I speak. Documentary.
I was listening to the Sane podcast, right? And
yeah.
that is just simple. And I just visioned myself in this situation I'm in. I'm breathing the whole time, just been breathing. I was just it sounds so practical, but take a breath. Take a breath.
I know that would be me too.
Yeah, when you just get into the part
just nostrils flaring. Yeah.
I'll let you go to the documentary. But yeah, taking a nice delicate breath.
Yeah. To go from the complete laughing to the complete opposite. The documentary, which has been on my mind a lot, is Sugarcane. And I don't know if you all have seen it. It's on Disney or Hulu. I forget. Sorry. But I only actually got through half of it. I have to go back and watch the other half because it was so emotional. And traumatic and triggering, and all of those things about boarding schools. If you all are unfamiliar, just watch the first half and you'll understand a lot of things that happen to Indigenous people. And please know also that it didn't just happen in the United States and in Canada. It happened in Hawaii. It happened in New Zealand. It happened in Australia. Basically anywhere where colonialism is, the governments decided to rip away the children and try to indoctrinate them and make them assimilated. And it didn't work. So yay, surprise, surprise. We're still here. We're still here. We're still doing our thing. We're still speaking our language. You tried, didn't work, and it will never work because that is who we are. You cannot erase the way that a person is intrinsically on the inside, no matter how much you dress it up. But okay, so that's mine. I'm going to stop. Thank you.
That was good. You made me want to watch it. I haven't seen it yet. I kind of think I was also holding off because I know it's going to be, emotional, and I kind of need to wait until I'm ready to pour out, because it's just managing life. You got to manage your emotions, with it. So, but I really should watch it this weekend.
Yeah, it is very heavy. So just especially as an Indigenous person, I know my husband, he is Filipino, and he wasn't raised with any knowledge about what happened in the United States. So he's watching it going did this really happen? Did they really do this? I'm like, yes. I don't know what else to say, but it's very it is, we can handle it, especially we as Indigenous women. We are built to handle the most horrific things, but it's still very, very triggering. So just know going in.
So I will go next with, I like this question because it goes back to how I met you at the first ever Chapter House flea market. I loved that event. It was so amazing. Shout out to the chapter house in LA, Echo Park. And I was really looking at, the different clothes that were being repurposed, and I had my eye on this one dress. And this goes along to our next question. If you can style anyone in Native fashion, who would it be? But as I was looking at that dress, you're talking to the individual that was selling it, and you're like, which red carpet did you wear it to? And I still haven't had a chance to wear it. I wanted to wear it to Rez's fashion show, but I didn't get a chance to go to Rez's fashion show. But first, why don't you give us a plug, or not a plug, but let us know who you have styled, and then answer the question after.
Sure. So I've styled quite a few people at this point. The biggest name that I'm sure everybody here would know is Janice Schmeeding. And so I styled her for her Rutherford Falls press and her red carpet events. And when she was on Jimmy Kimmel, I styled that look. We work really well together. I really love styling plus size women because it's a lot of stylists don't know how to do it because they don't know what brands to find. They don't know how to fit the body. I've also worked as a fit model, so I know what it takes to construct an outfit. I actually helped Bethany Yellowtail expand her sizing into plus sizes. So I was her fit model for that. So if you look on the size chart, you'll see a picture of me. But so it's really great to be plus size and to be able to help plus size celebs and others, get ready for these important and special events, because they deserve to feel beautiful and special and not feel like they're just put in some random dress, So Janice Schmeeding, was one of my bigger clients. Sierra Ornelas, she's the showrunner of Rutherford Falls. She's a client too. I'm like, I don't know, should I be saying my style clients' names? I guess I'm not like, it's not like a HIPAA violation or anything, but I'm like, I don't know. There's been several. I have a friend named Bree. She's a DJ. She's had me style her for several red carpet events. I do it informally with friends as well. Like a lot of times friends, will be like, what should I wear? I'm like, okay, get on FaceTime, show me your closet. And I put together a look they never would have thought of, having that like outside perspective. I'm very much about, I'm kind of anti fast fashion for a number of reasons, beyond the fact that it impacts Indigenous people around the world far more than anyone else in a negative way because of the environmental waste. But I also don't like it because there's chemicals in the fabrics and we're just making too much of it. We don't need, it's in the word fast, we don't need fashion to come out that fast. If you have some things in your closet, it's probably, you can keep wearing them. I think what I enjoy about styling is because I get to be creative and figure out new ways of wearing things. Part of my revamp of Chief of Style will be to do a lot more of those kind of tutorials. I've turned, jeans into a skirt. I've, refashioned button down shirts, flipped them around and done different things with them to create a new look. And so I'm very much about re-wearing fashion, slower fashion, thrifting. I love repurposing clothing. I'm learning how to sew. I made this skirt that I'm describing, which I'm going to post a video about it, but I made it at an Earth Day event where I was speaking, and they had like a workshop on reworking a pair of denim. And so anyway, that's all to say, I would love to style anybody and everybody, and also just inspire folks to style themselves, because I think sometimes we think that the help is outside of us, that we need to pay somebody to fix us, when a lot of times it's really just getting into your body, in like slowing your nervous system, taking a breath. We can find the solutions if you just get quiet. Our intuition will speak to us if we listen. But I think a lot of times we just get, the sound is drowned out. We're looking on TikTok or Instagram to find an answer for us. And sometimes we know the answer. We just don't know that we know it. But anyway, my answer, I guess, would just be anybody and everyone. I think so many people who like so many natives, creative natives out in the world are just killing it. And I'm just so proud of all of them. And I would love to style all of them one day. I'd love to style some men. I've talked to a few males, like native celebs, about styling them. That hasn't happened yet, but that would be really fun. So yeah, I know it's a long answer, but
No, but I really appreciate that response, because I mean, looking in the closet and saying I love all of what you said. And uncles out there, hit Amy up on socials so she can style you. But
yeah.
also just like looking in our closet, and maybe even looking in our Unci's closets, our Aunties' closets, to bring that old school, which is always new school, fashions back. You know, we saw Kendrick, right, wearing bell bottoms
Yeah.
and on the Super Bowl, and
Yeah.
you know, that's coming back and stuff.
Yeah.
So I
Pull them out of your
appreciate
closet.
yeah.
Yeah.
I loved bell bottoms in like 3rd grade. Like they were like I didn't care that they got soaked all the way up. Like I wore them every day. But anyways, no, that was very inspiring. Yeah, I need to go through my closet for sure. That was very inspiring.
Yeah.
When you were talking, I was like, yeah, you're right. I don't need Stitch Fix or like all those other things telling me what to do.
At the end of the day, like, we are the heroes we are seeking. Like, the person in the mirror is the one who's going to get you through what you're going through. No one else can save you, you know? So whether that's, you know, save you from something really serious or just save you from a fashion crisis, like, the person in the mirror can help you out, you know? So, like, give yourselves more credit. I think our society does not care about Indigenous people. And I think that trickles down to where we start to not really care about ourselves, or we don't care about each other, but we're all we have, you know? So I really think that, you know, doing more connection with oneself allows you to really connect with others in a good way. And yeah.
I have a question. That was very inspiring. Like, at what moment or what epiphany did you have to be like, yeah, I am my hero? Like, yeah, like I can freaking do this.
Yeah. I wish I could say that there was one moment. I feel like there have been a lot of moments, you know, that kind of have added up. I had a really rough year in 2019. Like, my life sort of like exploded and fell apart. And I don't know, I could think of so many different, you know, metaphors, but that was a really rough year. And then, you know, to go into 2020 with the pandemic, I lived alone in an apartment with my dog, and it was just us. And it was, you know, kind of crazy making, you know, just being at home, isolated. Like, that really was, I like, side note, I don't think that as a global community, we've really talked about COVID and the impact of that psychologically and emotionally. And I really wish we would, because I feel like we're being gaslit into thinking, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Move on, you know? And first of all, we still have it around, you know, people are still having to wear masks, you know? So anyway, side note, but so I had a rough few years. I really think it was like a dark night of the soul type thing. Like, yeah. And I've had 2 brain surgeries, and I think those medical, you know, kind of, they weren't emergencies in the moment, but, you know, medical issues that were severe. I think that also was a big part of my warrior woman energy. I definitely identify with the whole phoenix, you know, metaphor. Like, I am a phoenix rising from the ash. I really feel that, like, when you feel like things have fallen apart, you don't just move on despite those pieces. Those pieces are the foundation of the new life you're going to create. So I'm very grateful for all of the things that have happened to me. And I think really connecting with gratitude and being in gratitude for every little thing is so important. I think, you know, sometimes you can say, oh, I have so many dishes in the sink. Like, oh, I got to clean my kitchen. But you know what? Be grateful that you had food to mess those dishes up. You know, you can think, oh, my room's a mess. I have clothes everywhere. Be grateful that you have clothes. You know, I think these LA wildfires that really like took everything from people really showed the rest of us like, dang, we have so much that we really should be grateful for. And I really think things get taken from you when you're not grateful for them. So that's also kind of why embodiment and being, you know, just here with my breath is so important and has allowed me to really reflect on how I was living my life and how I want to live my life. So yeah, I know there was no one day or one moment. It was a lot of moments that came together, and it was a lot of reflection on those things that has allowed me to really feel like, you know, there's nothing stopping me, you know, like, yeah.
That's a reminder to all of us. I mean, not a reminder, but also an introduction. If people aren't, you know, in the path of gratefulness or gratitude or looking at the, you know, the dishes or, you know, the clothes and stuff. I remember when COVID happened and I was watching somebody on live, somebody that I know, and she was mentioning how she lived alone and it was her dog. It was she had a dog too, and some days, maybe even weeks in COVID, she didn't talk to nobody. You
Yeah.
know, so being isolated, and you know, honestly, this is how this show came about because I did I when COVID was happening, I had the fortunate opportunity to be online through community through Paku Cultural Community Services. And we did a monthly live and we had different individuals on. And then I also said, you know, I want to connect with my family and friends just as a check-in. And then me and Jen and Justine were talking like we should do something. So this is how this came about. And we've been doing it and it doesn't even seem like it because it's hard work too. Like nobody's paying us to do this, but we've been doing it now for 2.5 years, maybe 3 years. And it's been like Teen said, you know, a connection, even though we might not have something outside of our community, we have this space to
Right.
be able to listen, to learn, to connect. And I appreciate you being honest and, you know, sharing your story because it's going to connect with other people that are watching. So ta'a pilamaya gracias. Thank you. I don't know how to say it in your language, but thank you.
Kana. Mm-hmm.
Kana.
Uh-huh. Yeah, thank you for that. I definitely like I have, oh my gosh, so many thoughts, but yeah, I love everything you just said.
I wanted to move to another question, if that's okay. I wanted to know, you know, you talked about your retreat that you did and wellness and self-care. What is, you talked about your breath. Is there anything else, like another practice that that we could do that someone that's listening now could take away in addition to the breath work that you talked about, like a favorite
Number one, put your phone down. After you watch the show, put your phone down. Go outside without your phone, which honestly is a crazy exercise because you'll feel it. You'll feel like, whoa, this is disorienting, but go for a walk. You know, I told the women that that came to my retreat that you can bring this like silent walking meditation that we did in the forest to wherever you live. So even if, you know, I live in a very, you know, what kind of thing of the word, you know, there's a lot of homes around here. I don't have like a park right here outside my door or anything. However, I can walk through the neighborhood and just in silence, I can listen to maybe a gardener down the way. You know, this is how you get. So here's a trick to get into your body. And they teach this to folks who have suffered trauma. Or if you're having a panic attack, this is really good. So if you're like freaking out, whether it's your body's freaking out, you've got anxiety, you can't breathe, whatever, or you just want to get into your body, you like sit down and you think, okay, what can I hear right now? And you like listen for anything, whether it's maybe like a bird in the distance, a baby crying, someone vacuuming across, you know, down the way or whatever, like whatever noises you can hear. and you just really tune into those different things and kind of call them out to yourself. Then you think, okay, well, what can I smell? What things do I smell right now? Is it, I don't know, some candle that's burning? Is it, I go back to the grass, somebody cutting grass and you smell the grass in the air. Then you say, like, what can I see? And you just sort of like point out different things. You can find maybe everything that's green or everything that's red or something like that. And then you say, what can I taste? You're like, okay, I brushed my teeth this morning, or I didn't brush my teeth this morning, or I just had coffee, And so you kind of go through your senses, and it really brings you into your body. And so when I go for walking meditations, I kind of take that same thought process. So I have my foot very intentionally going on, like taking each step, the ground is meeting my foot. So whenever I'm needing to step on something, there is the ground right there meeting me. Like, how beautiful is that? The ground is supporting me everywhere. The earth is there. And then I think about like what I can hear, what I can see. And I just focus on my breath, just deep breaths. And that to me is just the best self-care. And I can honestly say that I probably need to go on a walk today because I haven't done it in a while. But when I think to do it, excuse me, that always helps. So
awesome. Thank you. I can't wait to, I do know that panic feeling of like, I don't know if it's panic, but it's panic for me of leaving without the phone. Like, I forgot my phone. I got to go back. And I do remember one time recently where we were driving away and so my husband was like, do you want me to go back? I'm like, no, I'll be fine. Like, I'll survive without it. And I did. And it really wasn't that big of a deal, but it's like that initial uncomfortableness that you were talking about. I'm like, that is a warning to myself that like I'm too attached to it for myself. And that I know I watch sometimes, like for instance, my grandson or other children, being here in the Philippines, we're around family, and I'm like, these kids don't know what it's like to like go outside, like go outside and ride bikes and like just be outside and just like, interact with your other neighborhood children or other, I don't know, just go down to the creek and like look at frogs and stuff. Like, I don't know, like that's what we did. And so I just feel that it's really important if we can to like recognize if we do have that anxiety around the phone of not having it around, and then like, okay, so now what am I going to do about it? Which I'll come up with my own plan. But anyways, thank you.
I feel like anybody who is a millennial, Gen X, or a boomer, like knows what life was. I mean, it's hard to remember now, but that we had life before we had a phone, on us all the time, that we could get around, use a map, ask other people for directions, the interesting thing is that people have all the information in their phone, and yet they still don't know how to Google things, or they'll like ask ridiculous questions. I know you're talking about the Washishus and are like, how do you know you're Native? Things like that. And you're just like, you've got all this in your phone, but anyway, that's like a whole other topic.
It's just so funny how you're talking about like life for the internet. I remember like Yahoo Maps came out like when I was probably like a junior or senior, and I was telling someone, before Yahoo Maps, like I would print it out to go to a party, like like I would print it out to go to a party. But even before the maps, when that had came out, there was a transition where you would call the line and it would be someone's voicemail and they'll tell you where the party's at, like around the city. So like, and I was telling someone that and they're like, what? Like, just look it up. I was like, oh. Like they left a voicemail. Someone turned off the phone and left the voicemail. But going back to the phone too, like really, I want to share my personal story because like when I recognize, my Sunday report of like how many hours I'm in there, when it's like 6 or 8 hours, I'm like, Justine, you're you're not in your body right now. Like, I know that when it's kind of around my 3 hours, that's when I'm like proud. I feel like, oh, I only have 3 hours a day. Like, I'm proud. And I know that I'm checking in with myself and also with my son. But when that report does help me, like when I'm like, what are you actually worrying about on Sundays? That's when I reflect on like the time that I spend on my phone. But I'm gonna check in about that.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're so connected now, like more than ever. Something can happen on the other side of the world, and we can know within the first few minutes, because we have a phone. And so we're so well connected, and yet there's such a loneliness epidemic. We all feel lonely, and then we go into events and we don't know how to talk to people. And, I feel like we need to figure this out, because it's getting to crisis proportions. And I do worry about the next generations. Because like, what is their future going to look like if we don't tell them to like put the phone down, So I definitely at least like to walk the walk literally and go for a walk and, and kind of be the change, maybe inspire someone else who's driving to like, oh, maybe I can go for a walk too, and I think also as a plus size person, taking up space on the sidewalk and being like, I get to work out here too, and I can move my body and celebrate that I can move my body because I'm grateful that my body can move. Some people can't move freely. They need assistance. And so I'm really grateful for the things my body can do at any size. And that's another thing I just want to say is that, if you're plus size and you're watching this and you don't feel good about your body, just know that you are exactly the size you're supposed to be right now. Bodies change over time. Not everyone will look the way that they look now for the rest of their lives. We all, ebb and flow, and, you're worthy just as you are. So, love yourself, because those, as you said, like, maybe you didn't say, but I was hearing somebody say this before, that like basically our ancestors walked so we could run. We are their wildest dreams. Really hold that to be true. It's not just words we say because they sound good when we're, praying, but it's true. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. And so know that you are special and worthy just the way you are.
I love that. I love that we're ending. I mean, we're slowly coming to a close. It always goes so fast, and I want so much more. But I love that ending. I love that we can say, people that are watching this, you are loved, and you are where you're supposed to be, but then you also are the change as well. I mean, so thank you so much for being here, Amy. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. There's so many big things that are coming, and people can follow you on your socials that are on screen now. And I don't know, do you have any final words as we're making our goodbyes?
No, just thank you so much for the invitation. This is so fun. I feel like when women get together, especially Native women, it's a special moment, and anyone who watched had the privilege of these vibes, so I'm really grateful. Thank you. And just, please follow me, not because I want to collect followers, but because I'm really trying to foster community and really create, positive vibes on my channel. So I'm going to have some more content coming out soon that I think is going to be really exciting. And so, I'm really excited to share it. So
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Yay.
Yay. Any final words, ladies?
Awesome and yay. I love those words. They always feel awesome. No, thank you so much. It was amazing.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, thank you all for watching. We will be back in April, and we hope to see you April 17th. Until then, Asamoya, goodbye, or not goodbye, but until we meet again, blessings to you all. Thank you all, and we'll see you soon. All right.